Did you know that there are things you apologize for every day, even though you're not wrong? This could be holding you back from living more freely and confidently. In this video, we'll apply the principles of Stoic philosophy to help you stop apologizing for things that don't deserve it. In fact, over 80% of us don't even realize that we're apologizing for things that aren't necessary, and this only makes life more stressful. Stoicism teaches us that life can be much simpler if we stop feeling guilty when it's not needed. So why apologize when you haven't done anything wrong? Sometimes, doing less can bring far better results. Let's explore why in this video. If you've ever wondered, why do I always feel guilty even though I haven't done anything wrong? Then this video is the answer for you. Let's explore 5 things you don't need to apologize for anymore, according to Stoic philosophy. 1. Stop apologizing for saying no. Stoicism on setting boundaries. Have you ever felt the need to apologize when you decline a request, even when you really don't want to or can't do it? This is a situation many of us are familiar with. You might worry that saying no will disappoint, upset, or even harm your relationship with others. But the truth is, setting clear boundaries to protect your time and mental health is completely reasonable, and you don't need to feel guilty for doing so. Let's take Elon Musk as an example, a well-known figure in the US. Musk is famous for his intense work schedule and ambitious projects. He constantly has to decline invitations, event requests, and even personal meetings, simply because he needs to prioritize his larger goals. What's notable is that Musk never feels guilty or apologizes for these rejections. Instead, he understands that to achieve important things, he must learn to say no clearly and firmly. Stoic philosophy also provides a deep perspective on this. The philosopher Seneca once said, "To refuse with respect does not mean you are wrong." What Seneca emphasizes is that knowing your boundaries and protecting them politely is not something to be ashamed of. On the contrary, it's a way to respect yourself and reserve time and energy for what truly matters. So, how can you apply this principle to your daily life? Next time you need to say no to someone, instead of saying, "Sorry, I can't," try saying something simple and polite like, "I truly appreciate your invitation, but right now I need to focus on other priorities." This is not a cold refusal, but a clear, confident, and respectful no for both you and the other person. Remember, you don't need to apologize for choosing what's best for your life, but there are other situations where you might feel the need to apologize, even though you haven't done anything wrong. Let's dive into that in the next part. 2. Stop apologizing for your feelings. Emotional control in Stoic philosophy. Have you ever felt guilty or had to apologize when you accidentally show your true feelings in front of others? Maybe it's when you cry because you're stressed out at work, or when you suddenly express anger or disappointment during an important conversation. The truth is, many of us still think that showing emotion is a sign of weakness, or worse, that it makes others uncomfortable. But is it really wrong to show your emotions to others? Take the story of Oprah Winfrey, one of the most powerful and inspiring women in the US. In many interviews and major events, Oprah has openly shown her strong emotions. There have been times when she cried, and times when she expressed genuine anger. At first, she always felt the need to apologize for these emotions, worried that others would look down on her or judge her. But later, Oprah realized something very important. Genuine emotions are not something to be ashamed of or to apologize for. On the contrary, they are a sign of authenticity and courage when you dare to live true to yourself. Stoic philosophy has long emphasized the value of controlling and choosing how to respond to emotions. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "Emotions are natural, but our reactions are our choice." In other words, you don't need to apologize for feeling sad, angry, or worried. because those are very human emotions. The important thing is that you acknowledge those emotions, accept them, and then actively choose how to express and handle them rather than letting them control your actions. To apply this principle in real life, next time you feel pressured to apologize for your genuine emotions, stop and remind yourself that it's normal to feel them, and you have every right to feel them. Instead of saying, "Sorry for being so emotional," you could change the way you express yourself by saying, "I'm going through some strong emotions right now, and I'm working through them." This approach will help you show respect for your emotions and send a clear message that emotions are completely natural and not something to apologize for. Now, what about mistakes from the past? Should you apologize for those? Let's explore that next. 3. Stop apologizing for past mistakes, Stoicism and letting go. Do you often look back at the past and feel regret about your mistakes? It could be missed opportunities or actions you wish you hadn't taken. Sometimes we get stuck in feelings of regret to the point where we feel the need to apologize, not just to others, but even to ourselves. But let's look at the inspiring story of the famous American actor Will Smith. In his life and career, Will has made many significant mistakes, both in his professional and personal life. However, instead of drowning in guilt and self-blame, Will chose to face those mistakes head-on, learn to forgive himself, and not let the past negatively affect his future. He once shared, "I can't go back and change what happened, but I will never let it control the person I want to become." This perspective aligns perfectly with the powerful viewpoint from Stoicism. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "The past cannot be changed, but how we face it can. You cannot undo what has happened, but you always have the choice in how to respond to the past." Instead of dwelling in guilt and continually apologizing for past mistakes, use them as a useful tool to learn and grow. So, how can you apply this philosophy in your real life? Simple: whenever you feel haunted by a past mistake, stop and ask yourself, "What have I learned from this mistake?" Or, "How has this helped me grow?" Shifting your focus from guilt to valuable lessons will help you free yourself from the burden of the past and move forward with confidence. Remember, mistakes are an unavoidable part of life, but regret should never become a barrier that prevents you from progressing. What about success? Do you feel like you should apologize for your achievements? Let's continue exploring that in the next section. 4. Stop apologizing for your success. Marcus Aurelius on achievement. Have you ever achieved something great but hesitated to share your joy because you feared it might hurt or upset others? Sometimes you may even feel like you should apologize for your success, especially when others around you haven't been as fortunate. This is something many people go through, but is it really necessary to feel guilty about your own success? Think of the story of Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, of the wealthiest individuals in the world today. On his journey of building Amazon from a small online bookstore in a garage, Jeff Bezos has faced criticism and even jealousy from the outside world. However, he never felt the need to apologize for his success. For Bezos, every achievement he reached was the result of relentless effort and absolute perseverance. He believes that success is not random, but rather the well-deserved outcome of hard work. This is very much in line with the profound philosophy of Marcus Aurelius, the emperor and renowned Stoic philosopher, who once wrote, "Success is the result of effort, not a mistake." This quote emphasizes an important point. You have every right to take pride in what you have achieved, as long as it comes from genuine effort and unwavering commitment to your goals. The feeling of guilt when succeeding is truly a psychological barrier that we must overcome. So, how can you apply this mindset in practice? Practice being humbly and positively proud of your achievements, rather than feeling shy or apologizing for them. When you accomplish something important, Feel free to share your success, inspire, and motivate others. Instead of saying, "I'm sorry if this makes you uncomfortable," try saying something like, "I'm truly grateful that my efforts have finally paid off, and I want to share this to encourage everyone to keep trying." This will not only help you enjoy your success comfortably, but also create positive energy, motivating those around you. Finally, you may have also felt guilty for the changes within yourself. Let's dive into that next. 5. Stop apologizing for changing, embracing growth with Stoicism. Have you ever noticed that you accidentally apologize when you start to change, when you are improving and growing, but those around you feel distant or uncomfortable? This often happens when you try to better yours, perhaps, when you begin pursuing a new job, adopting a healthier lifestyle, or deciding to step out of your comfort zone. But why should you apologize when your true purpose is improvement and growth? Think of the story of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, one of the most famous and beloved movie stars in America today. Not many people know that, before becoming an actor, Dwayne was a professional wrestler. When he decided to shift his career from being a famous wrestler to acting, he faced fierce opposition from his close friends and colleagues. They felt like he was leaving them behind. But what's important is that Dwayne never apologized for his change. Instead, he believed that changing, growing, and chasing his dreams was the right and natural thing to do. He knew that he didn't need to feel guilty for choosing a better path for his future. From the perspective of Stoicism, Epictetus once taught, "Change is natural, and you don't need to apologize for your progress." This idea is very powerful, reminding us that change is inevitable in life. Change may make others uncomfortable, but that's not your fault. You don't need to explain or apologize for striving to improve yourself, as this shows you're living positively and courageously, stepping out of your comfort zone. So how can you apply this principle in your daily life? When someone seems disappointed or uncomfortable with your change, instead of saying, "Sorry, I have to do this," try saying, "I know this might take some getting used to, but I'm working on becoming better every day, and I hope you can understand and support me." This will help you maintain a positive mindset while affirming the value of positive change in life. So now, you've learned the things you don't need to apologize for. Let's take a look back and apply Stoicism to our everyday lives to live more confidently, peacefully, and meaningfully. Today, we've explored 5 things you no longer need to apologize for, including saying no to others, expressing your emotions, facing past mistakes, being proud of your success, and changing for growth. These Stoic principles not only help you reduce guilt, but also create a more confident, self-reliant life. As Seneca said, "To refuse with respect does not mean you are wrong." Every step of this journey helps you live more serenely in a world full of challenges. Life is not always easy, but it's in the difficult moments that we truly realize the value of living true to ourselves. Don't let guilt dictate your every decision. Live freely, live true to your essence and your goals. And remember, you have the right to say no, you have the right to change, and you have the right to succeed without apologizing to anyone. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to never miss out on the deep insights from Wisdom Daily. We always strive to share these Stoic principles to help you live stronger and more confidently every day. And don't forget to share a Stoic moment from your life. In the comments, perhaps you've already applied one of these principles. Let us know. Have you ever felt guilty for something you shouldn't have? Or have you had a moment in your life where you stopped apologizing and started living more freely? We'd love to hear your story. Share it in the comments. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.